Hello, everyone. Today was pretty decent, I suppose. When I woke up this morning at around 9, I was asked by my mom to make some breakfast. And I gotta be honest, I was really tired this morning. I was trying to really, you know, get up and wake myself up, and I was having a really difficult time. My mom decided to go off to church while I was still acclimating to the day, and then I decided to listen to a digital foundry video um, where they made their little reactions to potential future in ahead for Microsoft and their Xbox Helix announcement. Um, the best information I could parse from that was that apparently they're going to look into not only making their standalone device, Helix, have the Xbox UI interface that is similar to one on their Xbox ROG Ally device, but also on any Windows PC that is capable of gaming. So they want to sort of unify their entire gaming portfolio under one UI, which sounds interesting. I guess they're going for the approach of trying to make any Windows device an Xbox device, which, I mean, interesting strategy. Kind of loses the identity of the platform, but in return, it does give the player more options. So I guess we'll see how that ends up playing out. Later, I decided to watch a video by Ross Coulthart about these supposed alien tridactyl um, mummies with elongated skulls that were found in I forget exactly where they were found. I want to say Brazil, but I'm not 100% sure. But anyways, he was inspecting these mummies and was essentially having the people who hold these mummies and having them describe like their opinions and findings on these things. And ultimately, the final takeaway is that a lot of them seem to be biologically unique and not manufactured, which means they're like some new species on planet Earth that was wiped out a long time ago that we're just now discovering, or they potentially are alien beings that were mummified and their mummified remains were found and are now being studied. Of course, the former option's more plausible than the latter option, but I guess you could never know. Moving along, my mom called me telling me she was on her way from church, so I decided to begin work on the pancake batter. I found a recipe that I have in my drawer that um, gave me exactly the perfect measurements to create the perfect pancake mix. So I made that. It was like flour, baking powder, sugar. Um, it called for buttermilk. We didn't have any buttermilk, so I had to improvise and mix a lot of almond milk with a little bit of heavy whipping cream. And I also mixed an egg with some vanilla extract. And then I melted 2 tablespoons of butter and I poured that into the batter and mixed that in it as well. The batter was quite thick, so I had to constantly water it down a little bit with some almond milk until I got a consistency that seemed right. My mom arrived. Uh, she cooked the pancakes and mixed some whipped cream so we could put some whipped cream on top of them. And we put some butter on them, as well as some real maple syrup. And we had some coffee too. And we decided to sit together and watch a 60 minutes on military drone technology. And it was a really interesting video. It was a compilation of various different drone sighting or drone related events that happened between 2017 all the way to 2025. And basically, the culmination is that artificial intelligence is being trained inside these drones for combative purposes in case we need an upper hand against the enemy in the skies. I mean, sure, I guess if you can come up with any means of self-defense, then do it. But when it comes to something like this, giving our own weapons their own autonomy raises some concerns. Like, how do we know like their goals are aligned with us? Who's to say that these drones don't decide to just turn on us and like drop on us with their bombs and stuff? Like, I mean, you would hope that there were safety protocols, but it's entirely possible that even an enemy nation could like figure out how to talk these drones into turning their backs on us and taking us out. It just seems like there's way too much room for variables that could potentially lead to a catastrophic end. And me and my mom even agreed, and we're like, "Oh, it's nice knowing you." We even shook hands. But yeah, this technology, with how unpredictable it is, could potentially lead to a very seriously bad situation. Well, anywho, after we're done watching that, I decided to go into my room and I found my old portable DVD player, and I decided to find an old DVD to play on it just for funsies. I found Shrek 2, the original DVD release from like the early 2000s, and I forgot how charming DVD menus back in those days were. I mean, I know why they put so much effort into them. It's because the technology was new and it was novel, and there really wasn't anything like it at the time. So, of course, software engineers for DVD menus were going to have a lot of fun seeing what they could do with this technology. But of course, eventually, streaming services became commonplace. People's expectations for getting into their media as soon as they put it into their disc players lowered. They wanted their media now. They didn't want to go through the razzle dazzle of fun interactive menus that invited you into the world of like the film. Instead, all they wanted was, oh, this menu's taking too long. And just get to the movie. I don't care about the whole menu frazzle dazzle. And so around like the early 2010s, like creative, fun, unique menus pretty much disappeared, and now everything is replaced with just footage of the movie playing with like basic menu selection options like play movie, setup, special features. It's honestly really disappointing because, like, I don't know if you're going through the effort of like manufacturing a physical copy of this film and then printing it on a disc, for people who are going to go out of their way in an age of streaming and on-demand video entertainment to pay exorbitant amounts of money to buy this physical disc to enjoy this film. I mean, why not bring back fun menus? Like, I mean, you don't have to make them as elaborate as they were in the early 2000s. Make it feel like the person who went through the effort of buying the disc, is getting rewarded for the effort with a fun menu or something. I don't know. Like, I know, like, those days of that being a novelty are over. Like, there was this fun special window between like the early 2000s to the late 2000s where, you know, cool menu like options were the norm. But man, they really should bring that back for, I mean, I'm not sure how much longer like physical media will continue to go. I hope it goes on for as long as possible, because the idea of having to be perpetually subscribed to a streaming service to watch anything honestly blows. Like, imagine not having ownership over any of your media and just being at the mercy of a big corporation to decide how long they have the rights to a certain property before they're like, let's rip it from their hands and put it in the vault for another 10 years, and they can't do anything about it because we're not selling a physical disc anymore. I mean, if you're not going to be selling the disc because it's too cumbersome and inconvenient and parts on like disc readers might break over time, the least you could do is like offer like a purchasable like DRM free download, kind of like what video games do, like on GOG. Like for people who want to spend their honest hard earned bucks on a feature film, but they don't want to be worried about like it being tied to like movie servers, and they can just watch the movie whenever they feel like by having a legally purchased and downloaded version of the film, like without having to worry about like you know DRM. I think that would be a good option, like in a digital era. Like, give consumers the ability to have ownership over their media. Like, heck, like create a new like the movie download device or whatever, where like you have a device that has like a, you can put like a movie card or an SD or whatever, like memory stick, and then you can like connect it to the internet, find a new selection of films, select the one you want to download, have it download, and then you have like a high res rip of the film available at any time with high quality audio that's completely uncompressed and everything. Like in this new digital era, I think that would be a good way to continue ownership over people's media without having to lug around a bunch of discs everywhere if people don't want to. But if people still want to lug around discs, then at least make the process of owning it enjoyable. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, maybe I should patent these ideas. That might be a good call. But anyways, after enjoying the interactive menu for Shrek 2, where it was like a reference to the Brady Bunch, with donkeys saying, Shrek 2? What kind of name is that? What about Shrek 2, Day of the Donkey? Like, and they actually went through the effort of having all of the actual actors from the film, like, record lines for the DVD to use in the DVD to make it feel like it was an actual special thing to own. It made, like, the film feel like something, like, actually cool to have, instead of simply just, oh, I guess I have the movie, but oh, I have the movie, but I have the experience of owning the movie on top of just the movie itself, if that makes sense. But anywho, and then I watched like the first like 15-20 minutes of Shrek 2. It still holds up, one of the greatest films ever made in my honest opinion. I love that film to death. And then I realized I was running out of time. I needed to get dressed and ready for work. So I put on my work clothes. I said goodbye to my mom and a family friend. I told them I loved them. And then I drove. Well, I was going to drive off to work, but my mom was parked behind me. So I asked her to drive away. Oh, that reminds me. I was actually parked behind her in the morning before she left for church. So I had to get out from behind her so she could go. And I parked up, then she parked behind me, and then we had to do a little Uno reverse card before I left for work. Well, anywho, when I arrived at work and I punched in, I greeted my coworkers, I checked my schedule, and I found out that apparently I had well, just checking to see, the battery was on that thing, so I wasn't recording without any audio, because that happened in one of my other videos. Anyways, but yeah, this was the first day or in a while where I didn't have the full shift of sweeps. Instead, I had like my first 3 hours was well, first hour was lot, and the next 2 hours was just front end. It's the first time I've had just pure front end without lot or sweeps in a really long time. Like it feels like it's been at least a week since like, or a week and a half since like I've had purely front end. In a weird, bizarro way, it felt sort of nostalgic. I'm not exactly sure why. Probably because it's something that I just normally did all the time, and now that like they've been giving me the sweep duty consistently for like 3 weeks now, now that I have like front end duties exclusively, it definitely does feel more like, whoa, this is kind of a culture shock, which is interesting. Um, and then for my uh, fourth hour, I did my sweeping duties. Now, the thing is, for my first break, I did do some breath work, which was nice, made me calm, relax. But like I like regulated my nervous system, which was cool, and took some water. Um, and yeah, for my lunch break, I decided to run over to a nearby uh, taco shop, and I got myself some fries and taco and a Coke Zero. Well, it wasn't a taco; it was like a bean, beef, and veggie and cheese burrito. It was really good. I really liked it, and yeah, I ate that and enjoyed it. While I was eating, I was listening to and watching a Red Letter Media video where Jay Bauman was continuing to quiz Mike and Rich Evans and their third contestant about Star Wars. The funniest thing about that was when Jay was like, the only reason why this YouTube channel exists at all is because of the prequel trilogy. And I gotta be honest, that's probably true. If it weren't for the prequels, I would have never discovered Red Letter Media. So, in a weird way, George Lucas is the reason why Red Letter Media is a thing to begin with. It's because people, they search up Star Wars Phantom Menace review, they come across the 70-minute Phantom Menace review by Mr. Plinkett. They watch it, they think it's the funniest thing they've seen in their life, like I did. And they're like, what other stuff has this channel done? And they begin looking at the different videos they put together, and before you know it, they just binge watch everything, and then they're a huge fan of Red Letter Media. So, yes, in a way, if it weren't for the prequels, Red Letter Media would not really be as big as it is. So, I thought that was hilarious that Jay Bauman even mentioned that. It was pretty funny. It was even funnier when he said that Disney hired J.D. Abrams because of Mike Stoklasa. We don't know if that's true, but if there was like an interview done with one of the executives and they confirmed that to be the case, where we did some research before we hired a director, and what we found was that apparently J.J. Abrams was considered a great choice by this Mr. Plinkett fellow. If there was like an executive who ever came out and said that, that would honestly be the funniest thing in the world. Anywho, it was then time to return to work, so I returned to work. My last 4 hours were spent doing not lot, sweeps, where I would take out the trash, I would wipe check stands 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and I would refill the bags. And I would also simultaneously help with bagging for customers. And that's pretty much how the final 4 hours went. I then said good night to my co-boss, and then I punched out. I walked off home, I drove off home. And when I arrived, my mom and family friend were watching the Oscars, so I decided to watch it with them, and I was able to catch Best Original Song, which was won by K-pop Demon Hunters Golden, which I could see that. it is really, empowering song. Another thing that one for best director was Paul Thomas Anderson for the the one with Leonardo DiCaprio that was released last year, One Battle After Another. Yeah, loosely based on a Thomas Pynchon novel. I guess Paul Thomas Anderson's a huge Thomas Pynchon fan. I'm really hoping one of these days he tries to adapt Gravity's Rainbow. I certainly don't envy him for trying to do that, though, that's for sure, because that novel is dense. Yeah, and then I watched, and then after that, I listened to some Simeon Jimmy, where he was talking about a movie with his friend Iggy Eggman Rodriguez and his sister-in-law, um, and it was a movie called Wuthering Heights. And they basically were talking about how Iggy didn't like the movie, but Simeon's sister-in-law liked the movie, and they were having a little back and forth, which was a lot of fun and interesting. Then I needed to use the restroom. Afterwards, I took my vitamins, I brushed my teeth, and I decided to record this update video. So that's pretty much the gist of how the day went. Not bad at all. Yeah, I'm gonna go to bed now, so thank you for tuning in, very much appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, everybody, and good night.